Wackersdorf as the green flag waves at the end of the pre-grid for Senior Rotax Heat 5, Groups A and D, race 13 of the meeting. Here is your grid. From the UAE, Lachlan Robinson will start on pole position and will be joined by Luca Leistra. Luna Blum from the Netherlands and Karol Kret from Poland round out row 2. They'll be ahead of Lewis Gilbert and Charlie Turner. Mark Kimber will have Teresa Babikova alongside on row 4. Again, a non-starter for Ollie Pilker, as Fabian Bock will have Kian Sang alongside for company. Then it's James Johnson, Felix Jansson, Emily de Hoys, Linus Henson, Mario Sidler, Bart de Wit, Bradley Barrett and Dylan LaHaye. So the intermediate classification will be based on the qualifying results from earlier today, from yesterday, and the combined results for all drivers who will have competed in over around 35 minutes of racing over the course of the day here in Wackersdorf. 10 minutes plus an additional lap set on the timer for the penultimate Senior Rotax Heat here on Saturday. Lights are on the gantry, ready to go out once we get the signal to go racing. So Robinson and Leistra will now control the pace. They look to keep it nice and slow at a crawl before we burst into a canter as they now enter the tram lines. Last race for these drivers. Let's go racing one more time before everything kicks off in race. Oh, and we've had someone go off going through into turn 2 for the first time. As Leistra looks to have gotten the lead, up the inside goes Karol Kret there too. Robinson loses out another position as Charlie Turner up into 3rd place, and round the outside goes Teresa Babikova on Lachlan Robinson. So Robinson now down into 5th position, and he's got Lewis Gilbert, I think, not too far behind. Well, he's got him a further cart behind because Mark Kimber is just behind, but he's got past. Kimber up into 5th place, Robinson down into 6th. As the number 385 of Felix Jansson definitely fancies a chance of trying to get past one of the other drivers up in front. So leading at the moment is Luca Leistra. Kret in 2nd, Turner in 3rd, Babikova in 4th. As now Turner gets run wide a little bit there and goes grass tracking. Not through any fault of his own. I think he either ran wide or whether there might have been a slight amount of contact between him and Karol Kret. But now, striding away into the lead is Luca Leistra. Teresa Babikova now 2nd. 3rd place is Mark Kimber as Lewis Gilbert goes up the inside of Karol Kret for 4th place. Then you've got Robinson, who's trying to be passed now. And that looks to be James Johnson. And the Brit looks to have got past round turn 14. That he has done. Then you've got the 327 of Bradley Barrett, who's up already, up into 9th place, having started 18th. So the Sony Vitesse driver going up the inside of Robinson and takes the position. Now up into 8th place. As just behind, Robinson again loses a place. This time it is to Luna Blum, who also dropped down the order in the early foray. 3:04. That is Karol Kret gets a 5-second penalty issued by race control. I think that was with the incident with Charlie Turner. So advantage by contact or causing a collision. So that put Turner on the back foot. Linus Henson now rounds out the field. As the drivers come across the line, I'm not too sure if Henson's going to take any further part because he's only completed 1 lap. Lead now firmly in the hands of Luca Leistra from Belgium. Teresa Babikova now having to fight with Mark Kimber to keep a hold of second position at the minute, as the 3.87 from Strawberry Racing has also got Lewis Gilbert not that far behind. So Carol Crett will get a 5-second time penalty added post-race. James Johnson absolutely has got the fire lit in the belly. And then you've got the 3.85 just behind of Felix Jansson, who's being closed in on by Bradley Barrett from Sudi Vitesse. As the 3.27 from Great Britain now trying to close on the back bumper of the Swede, as the 3.19 of Luna Blom gets passed by Lachlan Robinson into turn 3. Teresa Babikova still holding on. 4-second position ahead of Mark Kimber. Gilbert, Kret, Johnson, Jansson, Barrett, Robinson, Luna Blom, Emily de Hoys now rounds out the top 11 positions. Fabian Bock and Mario Sidner not too far behind. Dylan LaHaye now down, is still in 14th. Charlie Turner is trying to make a comeback from 15th position. Linus Henson is out and a confirmed retirement after just one lap in this race. Leistra's lead is now 0.758 of a second because, well, the driver that's on the mission wanted to get back up towards the sharp end of the grid and then gets past Bradley Barrett is Lachlan Robinson, who in the process has set the fastest lap of the race at 50.057 seconds. So back up to 8th goes the driver from the UAE. But Leistra, I don't think is getting away as much, but Kimber in the meantime has got past Teresa Babikova. Lewis Gilbert looks to close, Carol Crett looks to close, but then Carol Crett, on the basis of that 5-second penalty post-race, will put the Polish driver out of the top 15. On to lap number 7 we go. Kimber not able to break away from Teresa Babikova. Lewis Gilbert looking rather racy in the 3.29 from Potenza Racing Engines. James Johnson having done a great job so far, and it was confirmed just now that it was causing a collision penalty for Carol Crett. So Carol Crett at the moment is 1.642 seconds off of the lead. But we have got a really, really interesting battle a little bit further down the order as Lewis Gilbert, Teresa Babikova and Carol Crett are battling away, but Gilbert has got past for 3rd. Babikova stays ahead for the minutes, ahead of the 3.04. James Johnson trying to close. Lachlan Robinson trying to close. They've dropped Felix Jansson from Sweden. Bradley Barrett rounds out the top 9 positions and is trying to close on the Swede from Dan Holland Racing. Emily de Hoys is now ahead of Luna Blum. Now hits the top 10 in the 3.39 entry. Another 5-second penalty being issued. This time it is to Dylan LaHaye. As now Charlie Turner tries to go up the inside. This time Fabian Bock makes the move stick. Gets through. LaHaye this time also goes up the inside past Bock. And just behind them, you've got Kian Sang and Bart DeWitt battling over 16th position. Lead between Leistra and now Kimber, who's in 2nd. And Kimber, in the meantime, has gone purple on that lap time of 49.964. So we've got just under 3 minutes of this race remaining, plus 1 additional lap. And the gap between Leistra and Kimber last time around was 0.773 seconds. Gilbert trying to close on the 2 in front. Last time he was nearly a second behind Kimber. Babikova and Kret round out the top 5 positions. Lachlan Robinson has got a real turn of pace. Last time around did a 50.111 as we now go on to lap number 10. And it was a 5-second pushing penalty that Dylan LaHaye has been given, handed by race control. As Babikova still trying to keep ahead of Carol Krett, but Lachlan Robinson is closing. Robinson has just put in the fastest lap of 49.908, and that was pretty much over 2.5 tenths of a second quicker than the 3.04 from Poland. So James Johnson, Felix Jansson, Bradley Barrett and Emily de Hoys still round out the top 10. And I have to admire the gusto and gumption of Luna Blom after the earlier incident that stopped her competing in race 1 after a massive red flag incident. But to see her back behind the wheel, still fired up, still ready to race, that just shows the character of race drivers these days, that despite whatever is thrown at them, as up the inside, looks to be that Fabian Box has been passed by Kieran Sang going through into turn 6. And now I'm keeping an eye on what's been happening as Lewis Gilbert now puts in the fastest lap of anybody. 49.904 from the number 329 from Scotland. He's trying to close down on the top 3, but what he also wants to secure is his place in the top 30. As now the 339 of Emily de Hoys tries to go up the inside of Bradley Barrett, goes through on turn 3. Barrett retaliates on turn 4, gets past the driver from JJ Racing, and then up through turn 6. De Hoys does it. Brad Barrett tries to go for the switchback and then quickly has Luna Blom on the back bumper. So Bradley Barrett is the Soli Vitesse meet in a JJ Racing sandwich right about now, battling away for the latter part of the top 10. Make that 9th position at the very highest. Timer is about to expire as now 0 on the clock, it strikes. This time around, Mark Kimber will have a lap to try and close on Luca Lystra. Gap down to just under 4 tenths of a second. 0.387 as they go through turn 4 for the final time. Lewis Gilbert is pretty safe in 3rd position, as now Carol Krett has been passed by Lachlan Robinson. But Carol Krett will not factor into this effectively, as he will drop a further 5 seconds back. By my approximate calculations, he will drop to around about 13th position, as the checkered flag will wave. But this could be very, very close indeed, because Kimber has been closing on Lystra all the way through the last few laps. Around the final couple of corners they come. Lystra will take the victory, fractionally ahead by about 3 kart lengths in front of Mark Kimber. Lewis Gilbert rounds out the top 3. Teresa Babikova in 4th, Lachlan Robinson in 5th. Carol Krett will drop to 14th position. Maybe make that 12th, because Dylan LaHaye also gets a 5-second penalty. So James Johnson will take 6th, Felix Jansson 7th, Emily de Hoys 8th, Bradley Barrett and Luna Blom will take 9th and 10th respectively. Charlie Turner will end up 11th, as the change has been made for one of the penalties, with Carol Krett going down to 14th at the end of it all. Dylan LaHaye will probably be, that's now changed, so Dylan LaHaye will end up 16th, so Turner takes 11th, Sang takes 12th, Krett takes 13th ahead of Fabian Bock, Mario Sidler, Dylan LaHaye and Bart de Wit rounding out the 17 that finished, with Linus Henson and having his race ended on lap number 1 with Ollie Pilker, a non-starter.